Hey everybody, it's Gypsy. Please excuse my babies. Sirius is out there barking because the cattle are out, and he's still on his tie out, so he cannot go herd them and take care of them like he'd want to. They're not our cattle. I live in an open range area, so he's barking. And Draco and Persephone, they just want attention this morning. Rhiannon's sleeping. It's a little chilly in here. When it gets cold, she just wants to sleep. Anyways, I want to talk about what I see going on right now. Now, I'm going to preface this with my own spiritual beliefs. If you don't believe how I do, that's fine. Just leave it. I'm going to get into more of what's going on in the physical realm after I make this statement. I believe in reincarnation and that all of our lives teach us something. I believe a lot of times it benefits us in the next lifetimes. And I think one of my lifetimes has taught me to not be so quick to judge and, to really do my best as humanly possible to step back and take a non-judgmental view on something. But on the other hand, when evil is happening, to call it out and do something about it. There's a very fine line there. And that lifetime, I was Martha Corey in the Salem witch trials. I was executed on the last day of the witch trials. I was not a witch. I was a very devout Christian woman doing my best to be a good Christian woman, a good wife, and a good mother. I made the mistake of calling out what happened, what was going on back then, and how wrong it was. So they accused me of being a witch. That's what was going on. That is going on today. I'd like to say not with witchcraft or paganism, but that's going on still too. Anyways, and it is, your lives do have kind of a repetition to see how you handle it a lot of times, but sometimes it just keeps coming back. And twice in this lifetime, who I truly am has caused me pain from others who are very judgmental. And even not all that long ago, somebody came after me physically because I'm a witch. And so that stuff is still going on. I would have liked to have thought that we have advanced spiritually. And in some people I see it, but in others I see regression. I'm seeing a lot of regression these days, and I find it very disturbing. It's not why we incarnate, not to regress, to progress. But anyways, what I like to talk about is, well, let's not turn what is going on today into a witch hunt. Yes, there's a lot of evil things going on, and we have to address those things and face them head on. And I think a lot of people are doing a very good job with that. But there comes a point when we can take it too far and we're judging the innocent and accusing them of things they're not doing. Sometimes we get to the point where we're misjudging what is even beautiful and innocent. And we need to be careful of that. Okay, so let's take, for instance, book banning. I don't believe in book banning at all. Are we going to get to the point where we're burning the books? And then we'll go back to burning and hanging people too? Are we going to regress that much? Are we going to regress at all? We shouldn't. We should be progressing. What I believe, all right, with books is there certain books should not be in certain places. You cannot make every piece of literature available to children. So they should not be in schools or school libraries, and they should not be in the children's section of the library. Okay, that's called common sense. I'm wearing a shirt Normalize critical thinking. If you want one, I bought it from a website called Clown World. Very appropriate. They have great t-shirts. Anyways, what I do believe is they should not be in those places. Now, when I was a child, and I did not know this until I was an adult, our corner drugstore, we'd go up there. Our parents would give us money for candy. We'd go up there and get candy or whatever. What I didn't know was there was pornographic magazines there. Why? Because they were behind the counter, hidden. And I do believe they kept them wrapped in brown paper. And if you were an adult, which during my time an adult was considered 18 and over, if you wanted one, you had to go up to the counter and ask the cashier. Okay, they were not made visible to the public, especially children. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't believe in banning books. I believe when something is written and published, it should be left alone for those who, for whatever reason, want to read them, whether I agree with what was written or not. Okay, because what I believe, what I agree with, is irrelevant in this case. It is. When we start controlling to the point that we are banning books or any piece of art, we are on a very, very slippery slope. Now, we are already, I believe, down into the tyranny category. But when we start banning books or something like that, and we start judging, well, anything and everything, we're going to slide deeper and deeper into tyranny. Okay. Now, my point here is, now, how I feel is what others think of me is none of my business. And I feel everybody should feel that way. I think it would make for a better society and a much freer society. I feel it is my choice. If I feel that something someone else is doing is wrong, well, then I don't do it. I don't participate. Okay, I go about my life the way I want. And I believe in love and goodness. I believe in treating people with respect. Even if I don't like them, what I typically do is if there's somebody I don't like, I just kind of stay away. I don't attack. I don't say mean things about them. I don't like to do that. I just stay away. Okay? And, it's just the way I am. And we all have to get to that point where we start minding our own business. Well, I don't believe in what this person is doing. I don't like what this person is doing. So I'm going to go over here and do my thing and do what I believe. Read what I believe, what I think is good for me, what I believe in, okay? We have to stop. We are taking this judgment thing a little too far. Now, when it's blatantly obvious evil, and these people are drawing in others, unwilling others into their realm of disgustingness and forcing them to participate. That's when we need to react and act. Okay? Especially the innocent. All right? That's where we have to, and if somebody likes something or is doing something you find distasteful, but it's not hurting somebody else, just put it to the side. Don't look at it. Don't read it. Whatever it may be. Do not participate in the activity. Whatever. Okay. We have to not turn this into a witch hunt. We have never, ever, ever, during humanity, been able to get away from witch hunts. We might change the category of people that we're going after, but it's still a witch hunt. Okay? Also, we have to remember, when we start doing that, just judging everybody and anything without really having full knowledge or really understanding, we are choosing ignorance. Okay? Ignorance is a choice. Think of the word ignorance. It comes from the word ignore. Ignorance means that, one, either the information is available for you to receive and you're ignoring it, you don't want to know about it, or you actually know that information and have it, but you're choosing to ignore it. Okay, so that's what ignorance is. When you are unaware of there being information out there that you can access, that's different. That's just not knowing. But we always have to be careful about judging others because you've not walked in their shoes. For me, it has to be blatantly evil and disgusting. All right, let's take pornography. I'm hearing about this being in schools, like even elementary schools. It's out there so much, I'm thinking maybe that is true. And if it is true, I'm in entire disagreement. Those are innocent children. Childhood is so short that we should all be able to enjoy the innocence of childhood while it's there. So having it in schools, and I don't believe it is actually the school's place to be teaching that stuff anyways. That's a family thing, family moral thing. Every family's entitled to their morals, whether you agree with them or not. So no, it should not be in the schools, but I don't believe in banning books, burning books, destroying them, whatever. Just put them in the appropriate places, okay? We have to be very, very careful of how and where we're judging. All right. And that includes people too. You may not agree with their lifestyle. You may not agree with their spiritual path. That's a big one because what people fail to understand is we are all on a unique spiritual path. Spirituality and religion is not one size fits all. Now I know there are those of you who may comment and say I'm wrong. You're entitled to your opinion, but so am I, and it is an opinion. But that is such, as spirits who chose to incarnate, that is such a personal decision. That is something we cannot judge each other on. I mean, all right, yeah, if you're going around sacrificing children, P.S., witches don't do that. No, we don't. If you're going around doing that, okay, that's something else. It needs to be stopped. Do what ye will, harm none. We have to not judge each other on that. What is right for you is not right for someone else. So, all right, I am constantly, still in 2023, after my experience here, this is the last time I'm incarnating on Earth. This is not my home planet. I'm kind of doing it, well, I'm going to say as a favor. Anyways, even after what I experienced in the 1600s, I come in 2023, and this shit is still going on, where I have a lot of times been judged for my spiritual path. And that's wrong. If you truly come from your spiritual path, if you truly believe in love, you wouldn't be doing that, okay? So what spiritual path is right for you, whether it's an organized religion or whether it isn't, is the right one for you. If it has helped you grow spiritually, that's good. But I don't think there's a difference. I mean, like every spiritual path needs to be discerning. Okay? That requires using your intuition. You see something going on. Your intuition is going to say, well, that's awful. That shouldn't be happening. Or it's going to say, well, I'm not sure about this. Or it's going to go to the other extreme. It's okay. Or it's going to be like, well, I'm not sure about this. That is not something I would do, but is it truly evil and wrong? Okay. You have to use discernment when you're incarnated, because these bodies sometimes are too much of a barrier, that we're not open-minded enough to discern. And I don't want to use the word attack this person, because attacking is never right. Is there a situation going on here that I need to address, that I need to correct? Is somebody getting hurt? Okay. Or is this something that's just not my taste and I don't agree with, but it's actually not harming anybody? You have to learn to do that. I would like, instead of seeing humanity regress, because that's what I have been seeing all my life, because when I was younger, well, feminism and the equality movement was much different than it was today. I feel when I was young, that's actually what it was. Women getting like equal pay in the workplace, having the choice, although it didn't end up having a choice. We had to go to work after that. We didn't have a choice. The choice was taken away. I had another one I forgot. Oh, racism. We had just about got that cleaned up. I told you guys, I remember when I was younger, like around the year 2000, and I was working. I was not like kept separate from other races. Yeah, I wasn't living in this little bubble. Where I worked, there were other races. We all got along fine. Nobody talked about racism. Nobody talked about it. We were all fine. But I don't want to call her my boss. She was like the manager of the office. Let's just say had darker skin color than me and was younger. But since she was the manager and I was not, she had more authority and got paid more, because that's normal. That's how working works. You work your way up. And this person had worked her way up. It had nothing. It had everything to do with her ability, and I knew it. Nothing else. And I didn't care, because that's the way it is. Okay, that was right. So those things, we had come, excuse me, so far in those things, but somebody decided, no, we need to regress. And I'm seeing a lot of regression, a lot of judgment where it doesn't belong. I know with me, I'm getting to the point where I'm talking less and less about things. Well, especially like my spiritual path and stuff. I don't talk to people anymore about it unless I know someone has a similar spiritual path to mine, or is open-minded enough to hear me without judgment. And that's very sad that we keep regressing. We're judging people on race. We're judging people on gender. We are we've gotten very nasty with that one. We are judging people on their spiritual paths, religious. And we had, my 58 years, I had seen we were regressing, and now we're regressing very, very, very fast. We need to start considering why and how it happened. Because someone at the top of the echelon didn't like that we were getting along and beginning to unite, because that's frightening for them. Okay, so we cannot allow this to happen. Always keep your eyes open for that which is harming others, and call it out for what it is, evil. But also use discernment. Don't let every little thing blow you, get you out of shape, like have you freaking out. We can't keep doing that either. And if you feel you're going around judging people too much, then just maybe try to mind your own business more and practice discernment. Okay, this is way out of line, and this is, well, it's not really my business kind of thing. I'm not sure if I'm making my point clear, but I think in our search for purity, we're being too judgmental, reminding me very, very much of the 1600s. It feels that way. It looks that way. And if you're going to be in a search for purity, and I can't say bring back purity, because we have never been pure, ever. Even the Puritans were not pure. Let me tell you, they were not, obviously. If you're going to want purity, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I? Am I pure? Do I have the right to judge others? Okay. But yeah, when it's blatantly obvious, like with sex trafficking, and I mean any age, any gender, any age, it's wrong. Unless that person is in agreement, yeah, well, okay. I do want to sell sex to make money. That's their decision. And that also should not be judged. So when they're forced into it, all right, that's wrong. That's evil. That needs to be called out. That needs to be stopped. Those obvious things. Just watch yourself about how far you're bringing in that judgment, okay? And I do feel strongly about this because I get judged a lot. Even when I'm saying things innocently. And people think just because I'm different than others, well, I must automatically be evil or, whatever. I don't know. I swear every life on this planet, I've only incarnated here 5 times because I was just was the first 4 were a warm up for this one. I'm not sure if it made it any easier or any better. Anyways, yeah, my home planet is elsewhere. I'm not going to get into that right now. We need to be more discerning, more aware before we get on that bandwagon and start, attacking others. Think about it first, okay? So, even on social media and stuff like that, what you read or hear on news media, whether it's mainstream or otherwise, or, oh God, what do they call it? Non-mainstream media. Always be discerning. Just because that person is like, I'm going to say on your side, is more in agreement. Don't take everything they say. Always think about it. You have to. There are some things like I will read and I'm going, it's not resonating with me, so I'm going to kindly, which means just ignore it, put it over there, just move on. But let's not turn creating this planet into a higher vibration and a more beautiful place to live into a witch hunt. Because if we turn it into a witch hunt, we will never, ever make it into the planet we want it to be. So I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.